southern people, like a small town, nothing's real. Mama's still doing wrong, don't tell the preacher. Nothing really changes except the weather. If you can't say something nice, you don't say nothing at all. Don't want you up in my life, 'cause you talk too much. I could leave it all, I'm feeling low. Find myself on a brand new road. If you can't say something nice, you don't say nothing at all. Don't want you up in my life, 'cause you talk too much, y'all. Gotta go to church on Sunday, get a dose of the Southern truth. Grandma's house is just down the way, and she's missing you.
And good morning. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday thus far, as the Cornbread Man, aka David the AM, or vice versa, is broadcasting live from the banks of the Southern Fried River as it gently flows through the state of Georgia, empties into parts unknown into Florida. Hope you're doing well, having a great weekend. We had massive storms yesterday. It was amazing that we got in what we got in as far as a program last night with no problems. So that was truly amazing. I was thankful for that. Hope you have a lot of plans for the weekend. I hope you're going to get some things done. I'm going to work some, go to church, broadcast, a little bit of everything. Right now I'm drinking some wonderful coffee and getting started in my day. It's been a rather hard week, and I hope that you have had a good week and not too much. The heat obviously has been unbearable for many. Stay inside a lot or just sweat a lot. So it has been like that. Well, this is a Rumble not exclusive show today, although I am coming from live within the studios, the Rumble studios, and then to some other programs or platforms rather, be they YouTube, Twitch, locals, and X, and I think maybe one more, something like that. And just switching things around this morning as I may do some campaigns today off of some advertising, so we'll see. And this is my Saturday chat. If you've not been here before, we may talk about things that are going on in various states, some news that may be not as national. Or we may just talk about national news as well, and whatever you want to talk about. It's sort of a chat day, and doesn't mean that I don't have things I want to do. I do, but not script it so much that we can't be flexible to move along as the chat may desire to. I am in North Georgia, extreme northwest Georgia. So I'm almost so northwest. I'm almost in the. I could be in there in the state of Tennessee or Alabama, and then I don't broadcast usually unless I program it, put it up on Saturday evening because I do some work on a Saturday, do a little second job. And Sunday I try to broadcast sometimes in between. But tomorrow I'm going to be getting the rest of the uploads ready for Cornbread Nation Radio. We're going to launch that Monday morning live on air. We're just going to hit the button and put it live and let it do its thing. And we won't be broadcasting from there. We do want to pull it up live in a screen share and let everybody be a part of that. So it's a big moment. We're actually going to be, going live with our own internet radio station. So the Cornbread Nation Radio. I should have put the graphic in here. I don't have it in here. But if you've been out there on our socials, you've probably seen it. It come out pretty well. That's the graphic. There will be 2 apps available. I have not got the okay that they're ready yet. They're in design mode and acceptance mode. So there'll be one for Google Play and one for Apple. And they will have that same logo, or one of them may be slightly different. I made a couple different ones to split them up so you know the difference, but between the 2. But they will be a download that you can take us with you wherever you go. We'll put all of our programs up. We eventually will do some live there, but first we just want to get the station going, get up our music. There's a lot of music you've never heard of ours, and we may put some music of others up. We have some folks that are interested in that, and they're excited about it. So we may have a feature of their music during a block of time on the radio station. So it's Cornbread Nation Radio, and we may still be helping others on theirs. We don't know yet. We're still waiting to hear, but we're always available to do that. We love to broadcast. We love to get out there and even with the uglies. Sometimes there's uglies out there. It's okay. We just move them along. But it's good to be here. It's good to be alive. I was looking at we have a page, for those that worked where I did a long time ago. It's a different company now. That there was or there is a Facebook page that has a lot of stuff about the company before, and they keep up with people and when they pass. And, unfortunately, we've had a couple of former coworkers that have passed in the last month, and one of them was like 2 years younger than me. And it just amazes me, The older you get, the more and more you start seeing of people who pass on. That's younger than you. Used to be it was always people older than me. Most rarely would it be anybody my age or younger, except in car wreck, tragedy, something like that. But including murder. I've had a friend murdered. I don't know that I've had anybody. I'm not sure commit suicide, but it's possible. Sometimes you don't know what happened. I've had friends that overdosed, you name it. And then just natural causes, heart attacks, cancers, things like that. And you start seeing those people, they're a lot younger than you, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And every day is a blessing. Every day is a blessing of the Lord. And I'm thankful to be alive today, absolutely. You saw in the intro, if you heard from the intro, our coffees. And I love that we've got our own coffee line now. It's fabulous. And you can just simply scan the QR code, and that'll take you to our shop. Well, it'll actually take you through our Shopify stage to the coffee shop. And you can, there's more blends than what's showing. I just put on there. I didn't want to overload the screen. But the house blend I have here in the studio, I've had all these blends in the studio. There's more that I've had besides this. And there are the single-use cups and stuff like that. So you can go there and get some coffee. And the shipping, if you're in the continental United States, the shipping is free. It's built in. I mean, we're paying for shipping. I mean, the shipping's never free. But, that's a play on words. But it's not added in as an extra at the end of your shopping experience. I always hate that. And I get it, you got to pay it, but sometimes it's higher than the product I buy. So the cheapest coffee in our studio, or in our shop, excuse me, our coffee shop, is 19 bucks, I believe, which is the house blend that I have here. It's a 12 ounce, plenty of coffee. It's a lot of coffee. Still drinking on the pack I got. I've had several pods, but the shipping is included in that. So it's not like it's 19 plus. So there's the next level up, I think it's 24.50. Now some of the blends have a little bit more cost to them, but the general use blend like is 24.50 or something is the next level. But there's no added. It's like you're not adding up. And I've paid more than that for some coffees, even with discounts. And this coffee is just as good as any out there. So, and I'll be biased that way, but I believe it. And you get the SFP brand coming to your house. So I think that's cool. So absolutely. So we'll see, if you agree or not, if you decide to order. We also have a couple other things out there we're working on. We have our merch shop. I don't have an overlay for that uh, in Rumble yet. I'll get that up with a QR code. We've sold things from several things, and we've created some things that with Rob and me and coffee mugs and other things on the overlay for shirts, hats, whatever. But our racing has been the biggest seller. Our racing show, the SFP racing show, racing hour with Dean has sold more than anything, and that's amazing. And that logo really came out well. It is our forever logo for that. And in fact, I know Dean took that, wore it to when his mom went to the doctor. They both did, I think. I know he did because one of them, it may have been both of them, but they were asking what it was. They told him, they said they would give a watch. So if you're watching from Nashville and you're that nurse, God bless you. Thank you for taking care of wonderful people and my co-host and big supporters of the program. Absolutely. It's wonderful when you get, some people may hate it. I don't, whatever. I do things for me anyway. Hopefully some people find some things they like. And we've got people that do that, and I'm thankful to you from the bottom of my heart. But I don't sit around worrying. You just be you. You can't be what somebody else wants you to be. You got to be you. We try to make it as entertaining as we can, but I don't like getting caught up into, doing that. Just who you are, and hopefully some people will like it. And if they like it, they like. If they like it, and you're not trying to please them, they're probably going to like it. If you're trying to please them, you'll always be chasing that. You'll always be chasing what somebody wants you to be. You can't do that. I've known the best of people get caught up in that circus is to try to be what somebody else wants you to be for acceptance or whatever. That's weary. It wears on you. It's not sustainable, and you just got to let it go. You just got to get rid of it and stop being you. But I've known preachers that have done that. They try to be the preacher that someone else wanted to be. You can't do it, and to a degree, we all do that when we first start out because we're really trying to find who we are in that, and sometimes you get caught up mimicking, not meaning to. It's just all you're learning on the fly. There is no, we're going to go to a preacher class and then go. It's really going to happen that way. But I mean, not to say you don't get education and you can read books, but really until you do it, you just don't have that. You can have some people guide you and all this stuff, but you got to develop your own way. Everybody's different, and that's God using you for the qualities He give you, and you just can't be somebody else. Well, you can't be that as a creator either. You can't be that. I look at analytics. I look at a few things. I find them interesting. I do not bow at the altar of analytics. I could care less. It shows you age, groups and everything. We've never tried to target a particular age group or older, so naturally some of our listeners are, our age or older, or slightly younger. But we have age groups from all backgrounds, even down to the teenagers. That will catch some of our shorts and even our shows that we do. So, the heck with analytics. It's like, I get tired of it, in baseball or football. They're always running the analytics. Well, for this batter, we're going to bring this pitcher. And yeah, I get it. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it don't. And I think it's the way analytics are. But, it's like cooking. It really is. And when I grill for me. If somebody likes what I grill, fine. But I'm just not going to try to be all things to all people because you can't please people. there's always going to be somebody, and they might not even tell you. They're going to say, "That was pretty good, but it was too this, too that, not enough this, not enough that." So if you start trying to meet all those metrics for people, whether they like you, this is goes anything, not just creator. This is freaking life. If you try to be what somebody wants you to be, and you try to meet that with every person, you will destroy yourself because you can't keep up with it. It's too much. So you just got to be yourself. You got to find something that you do well and work at it absolutely and get better at it. But you can't let people define you like that. And so I only say all that to say I'm not going to worry about that. The creativity part of me, which is exciting, I love. And some things don't work exactly the way you wanted, but that's a life, and you back up and you tweak it, or you sometimes you trash it, or sometimes you start over. That's fine too. That's all part of the artistic process, and you get what you want, and then somebody comes along and says, "Hey, that's really good." Okay, okay, at least one person likes it. Then you start building off of that, and then some other people like it, and amen, Miss Regina, for and not that you figured it out early on. She says, "I never did that," and thank you so much for the kindness. But yeah, she says, I never did that. I never do it. And you can't, because you will actually destroy yourself. You will absolutely destroy yourself. And, you just can't mimic or be that somebody wants you to be. I think this is sometimes a problem, and I appreciate the kindness. Thank you so much for that. I think there's sometimes there's people that want you to be that in marriage, and they want to change you and mold you. That's both sides, really. And we make the joke about, uh, it took me years to get them where I wanted them. There's a natural growing together that occurs. You learn what other people like, and you try to enhance those things, absolutely. But you can't. It's the world's worst thing to marry somebody thinking I will change them. You will not change them. If they don't want to change themselves, you're not going to do it. And if you're having to change something because it's a problem, it's probably always going to be a problem, or it could be a big part of a problem for a long time. And I've seen this mistake made many, many times by people when they marry, and they marry uh, for all the wrong reasons, and it just turns into a disaster. Now, a lot of people have made that mistake. Can't beat yourself up over it. Life is a school, life is a lesson, and you just got to try to do the best you can and limit the mistakes that you make. And you know, be very forgiving in life. Be always ever ready to forgive. And something that some people have a hard time with. Now, I think it can be empty words to say I'm sorry. It can be, but it's still not. You still should say it. Some people have a hard time saying that. They don't want to ever admit they did wrong. Well, we're all have that problem, the human factor, which is sin. But the human factor always plays in it. All of us make mistakes, and so you have to be ready to say I'm sorry, but not use that as a crutch or excuse to replicate uh, the problem that you are doing or the action that you're doing. You gotta change it. You gotta be better, as we say. I heard someone say one time, and they repeat it from someone else. When you know better, do better. And that's pretty good. When you know better, do better. Some people didn't really learn how to be a husband, be a wife, be a parent, whatever. And let's face it, we're all kind of learning on the job, but some had better role models than others. And you know, old mothers who have been there, I'll use this example. Mothers who have been there, they look at young mothers and they just, you know, they shake their head because they see what they believe is mistakes. Now, you have to let them kind of find their way, but it's always good to give some advice if they're willing to take it. But you gotta, unless you're seeing a big mistake, harmful mistakes, then you gotta say something then, or I think you would be wrong not to. But you should always try to, you know, offer advice if they're willing to let it. Just tell them how to do it, because some people really don't know. They don't know. Like going to the gym for the first time. Miss Regina, she's big in the gym, and I'm gonna tell you, if I went in a gym and I went up to one of those, you know, whatever machine it was, but I know you run a lot, and if you were going up to that, and you didn't know how to operate that, you might kill yourself. Full blast, not figure out how to get it on. It's full blast. Well, you need somebody, and they have staff that help you with that. They should have, or usually have. But that's the kind of advice that I would want. Okay, first of all, how do I turn it on? Slow. How can I increase speed slowly? And how to turn it off. Nowadays, they've got all the videos, and you got the GPS going. You're going cross country or going around the city or whatever it is. I think that's cool. Music, you're listening to music, it gets you down the road. You want another mile in before you get off the thing. That's cool. But you got to know how to operate it. And if you don't know how to operate it, you need somebody to guide you the first time, or maybe the first two or three times. Some people it takes a little longer. They forget. Nothing wrong with that. Some people, how many times I got to show you? Just show them. We've probably all said that, but we really don't mean it in a bad way. We're like, are you ever going to learn? Some people just need a little more instruction. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like the biggest dummy in the world. I get in and I try to figure things out, and sometimes I don't figure it out as quickly as I think I should. And I'll say, "You dummy, this is not that hard. What are you missing?" It's like I coach myself. Like, come on, we can get this. I've always my dad. I love my dad. He's not with us anymore. My dad was not the best to work with because as long as he was happy, it was great. If my dad got mad at what he was working on, he got mad at everybody and everything. So he started getting real short. So I didn't really enjoy working with him on cars. So I didn't learn as much as I could have. And he would just get so mad. So for me, everybody gets mad. I mean, you're trying to fix something. It's a part ain't coming off, a part ain't going on. You can't get that last bolt out or the last bolt in or whatever it is. I learned, or you're just stuck. You don't know what to do, especially for that one. I walk away. I may walk away for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. If it's something that can wait, I might even pick it up next day. And what I do is I think over what I've done, all the steps that I've taken. What might be the problem? I do this all the time with streams and stuff, like trying to figure out something. It's like when I feel myself getting a little stressed about it, I'll just walk away from it. I'll say, I get it tomorrow. But I'm still thinking on it. And I go back through, I might go online and look at a couple of things, a couple of videos, and I have to coach myself that way. Then I get like, oh, okay, that may work. Let me try that the next time I'm in the studio. And maybe I'll figure out part of it. Maybe I'll figure out all of it. Mission accomplished, or I need to go again. And I got to go back and start. Maybe I need to call a friend. So I'm thankful to have a few. And it's fun to you got to do those things. And sometimes you make mistakes, like in my banner, or my ticker. I made a mistake. It says you're. I was focusing on three things at one time. I could make fun of myself. We usually correct words anyway. So get you Southern Fried Coffees. Deal with it. Oh, it's fun. Usually we spot our own mistakes pretty quickly. Now, there are people that have a very sharp eye and they see those things very, very quickly. And they're like, hey, you made a mistake. I'm like, okay, how did I make a mistake? And, you try to figure it out, need help. But there are those people, they're always there. And they're always ready to help you know that you're a dummy. You know, like, I don't mean to be rude, but you didn't do this right. That's the way it goes, right? I've seen that before. Like, do you know that you got two different colored shoes on? I did that once. I absolutely did. I went to, I dressed in the dark, and uh, I went and I was at work. Actually, I noticed it myself. So I took advantage of it, and I told everybody. I went to work. I sat down in a friend of mine's office that worked in our same department, and I was just really checking in, seeing what she was doing. And I sat down. I propped my leg up, and and there was that shoe. And I thought that shoe looks brown. I'm pretty certain I was putting black shoes on today, and so she was the type of person that would notice that. And I said, "Hey, I fixed the urine." So I said, "Look at there. I put two different shoes on today. What a dummy." I diffused the situation. So I told everybody all day long, like, you think you've had a hard day? Look at my feet. Everybody's like, if you hadn't told me, I wouldn't even notice. Which there are some people that just not notice. That's always been my. That's always been. There's a line in the Shawshank Redemption. Remember that movie? Great movie. This is not a show. I love the movie, but I've never agreed with that line towards the end of the movie, where he puts his prison clothes over the suit, but he has to wear the shoes in. He put the other ones in the locker, and he said nobody noticed the shine shoes wearing. Because after all, who notices somebody's shoes? A lot of people do. People look at your shoes. They do. They look at it. They'll say, "Where'd you get those shoes at?" And I like those, or "Oh, those are funny looking," or whatever. I thought that line was not accurate. Now, it may have been taken into consideration at the time that everybody wore kind of the same kind of shoe. There wasn't the diversity of shoe that we have today. At least for men, probably wasn't. But I still think that's not true. If you're a prisoner and you're in a prison, and you come walking down all those that were still awake at that time of night, they're going to notice some shine shoes on a prisoner. Like, hey, look at that. It's just something. You notice everything. You're locked in a cage. You're going to notice everything. You're tired of counting the blocks on the wall. So I just always thought that line was misplaced. That the line could have been better. Uh, you know, Again, I don't try to knock movies. I'm not one of those that looks at movies to find the blooper or trash it. I go with the story, even if it's not realistic for real life. But that line always stood out because I thought it was like one of those matter of fact statements that they assumed was fit good, was true, and all they needed was a reason to get him back to the cell with those shoes on. And I thought they could have done better with that. I just thought it was, you know, I thought there was a better way. And it was just that line just didn't seem to fit. It was it's almost like they forced it in there. And it just stuck the first time I seen the movie, it just sort of jumped out at me like, hey, wait, that's not right. That, that doesn't fit. But it don't matter. They made a lot of money. Book and movie and whatever else they had going on. It's a great movie. I love the movie. Um, and we'll never forget him swimming through that pipe. Good Lord. Ugh. That'll take your breath. Just thinking about it. But happy Saturday, Southern Fried Podcast, Cornbread Man, Miss Regina. I don't know if she's still here. But visit the dialogue box. We need to partner up again, Miss Regina, if you're still out there, if you're willing. We hadn't done anything in a while. We need to do that. And you just let me know when's a good time, and we'll put it together. If you don't follow the dialogue box, and if you're not in our, you should see that in the chat. But just in case you don't, there's how it's spelled, the dialogue box. Give her a follow. We love our Rumble creators: Killer Carl, Angry Conservative 1981, Celtic Blacksmith, Empty Pockets Podcast, Kim's Coffee Talk. I can keep going. There's a bunch of them. They're great, awesome, and wonderful people. Southern Fried Podcast, SF Podcasting, Big Tony. Big Tony, don't forget Big Tony. I think T Skillet's going to come along with the show here in not too long. It comes on the Killer Carl show. I'm probably forgetting somebody. I'm sure I am. But give these folks a follow. They're great people. You know, they're every one of them give unto me in many ways. Friendship, number one, respect, always willing to lend a hand, be a help advance the cause, share us out. Amazing, and I'm thankful. But I hope you have a great Saturday. I hope that you are with family and have family around you, somebody that you can share with. Or if you're having to work, I hope you have a good work weekend. You know, it's amazing. You know, we get into the weekend. Sometimes news bites pretty hard over the weekend, and sometimes they release information. I've said this on Friday afternoon, so that it doesn't get as much attention. And it. Let's see if we can find some news out there that might not be in your news box, but it's going on at points known. Let's see here. We got to look at local news. Let's see. Trying to find one that West Virginia. Let's go to West Virginia. Here's one you don't see every day. It happens. I would hate for it to happen. I've always heard it's like, this is obviously not a good thing to happen. In Morgantown, West Virginia, I've been in Morgantown. It's been a long time ago. A raccoon in the New Hill community has tested positive for rabies after biting an individual. What a horrible adventure that would be. The Monongalia County Health Department officials confirmed Thursday the raccoon was trapped in the area off West Virginia Route 7 near the Meadows Pond development. They are urging residents to make sure their pets are up to date on their rabies vaccinations. So I was bit by a rabid dog once. That's why it always jumps out at me. I was in what we called junior high school back then. They all went to middle school. I thought junior high sounded better, right? Middle school? It doesn't sound right. It's like middle. It's like being the middle child. I'm in middle school. I want to be in high school. Call it junior high. It's like you're almost high school. You're a junior, but you're almost there. Middle just doesn't. I don't know. I never liked that middle school. I thought it was lazy. But I was walking to school, and I lived pretty close to the junior high that I went to. And I saw this dog acting crazy. Just acting really crazy. And so I was telling it to, stay away. I picked up a stick even. And the dog was just looking crazy, And I thought that dog looked rabid or sick. I don't even know if I knew what rabid. I think I'd heard the term. But, I didn't know a lot. But I thought there's something wrong with that dog. So I walked on by it. Well, you got to watch the enemy, right? The enemy will come back on. The enemy will attack you from your weak side, the side where you're not paying attention. And that dog looped around and came up behind me. Next thing I know, I'm getting bit on the leg. And thank goodness I had blue jeans on. So it hurt. But I had that stick in my hand, and I just cracked it. Scared me. I cracked it over the head. And it didn't even run away real fast like a dog would do. But I hit it, and I just kind of walked sort of sideways for a little bit, made sure the dog stayed away. So I went on to school. Well, somebody called the pound about that, the officials about that dog, and they picked it up. They said, this is a rabid dog. They didn't wait no test. They just said, this is a rabid dog. I think they had to put it down immediately right there when they got there. So an announcement goes out over the school intercom. If anyone came in contact with a dog behind the school, report to the office immediately. And I said, well, that's me. I'm that guy. I was very shy. I hated even. I'm still shy. I was very shy then. I hated. I didn't want to. I didn't want to say anything, but I thought, well, I better. So I raised my hand, told my teacher. I said, I come in contact with that dog. You did? Well, that must. Oh, it bit me. bit you, come flying up. Let's get to the office right now. So we come flying down there. Everybody's in a, in a panic, and I'm like, that didn't hurt. It's pull your pants leg up. So I pulled it up, and it was red, but the skin wasn't broken. And they're like, well, it didn't break the skin, so you should be okay. I said, you should have reported that. And then later I thought about it, and I thought, man, I came that close to being having to take, shots, and anything could happen. I mean, that was a scary moment for me as a junior high student. I thought, I'm that guy. You always hear that in the stories. Sometimes you'll say, if your child is this, or if your car is this, or if you are this, please report. They're always like, well, it ain't me, it's somebody else. That was the one time in my life where I knew they were paging me. I was like, wow, I'm glad I paid attention. Now, there was one time my kids being kids, my youngest, my family remembers this well, sees the emergency door, and yes, decided that it would be best to see if it would sound the alarm, and it did. I hear the alarm. I would always go to the magazine area. Of course, the boys were hanging out with their mom, begging for candy and all this. I was over there reading a sports magazine, as I would do. I hear the alarm, and I'm going, it can't be. Surely not. And while I'm contemplating the level of possibility that it was my kid, I see two kids. They never saw me. They came by. The oldest one, he is getting out of there. He's telling the other one, he said, come on, we're in trouble. I told you not to do it. He said, you're the one that told me to do it. And I'm like, ugh. No, and there's other people sitting there. So I just let them pass on by. They were headed like outside to the front. I don't know. I guess they were looking for me. I don't know. And I'm sure their mama said to go find your daddy. And I just laid my magazine down, just very coolly got up so nobody would know that was me. I went on out towards the front. There they were, and I just motioned like, yeah, outside. And we went out and had a father to son chat. That's a good way to put it. A father to son chat about things we don't do in stores. So my wife finally gets finished shopping. She's coming outside. Pull up to get her load of groceries. She said, I'm so embarrassed. I said, well, I understand. I said, but he has been disciplined, and that's the end of it. I'm sorry, but I think she wanted another round. That's like, the first one was sufficient, and I'm looking at him like, he knows he's never going to do that again, right? He's shaking his head, crying, because I tore his tail up. My wife was like, I think she was thinking, I wanted some of that. Oh, but she'd been the first one to step in if I was going to spank. So please give him another chance. But that day she got embarrassed, so she was ready. She was ready for some discipline. But if you've ever had that happen, but that day I was that guy that pays. It came to me. The dog was rabid. Thank goodness I wasn't. And some might say, well, that explains why you are the way you are. Joking, maybe not joking. But yeah, it's a horrible that they had that in that area. It goes on to say that rabies is a viral disease that attacks the brain. So it might be what's wrong with it. And nervous system in mammals, including people, and can be transmitted through the saliva of a rabid animal via a bite or a scratch. I wasn't scratched either. That's good to know. I thought about breaking the skin. I guess a scratch would be breaking the skin. So, according to the CDC, fishers are taking the exposure very seriously. Of course, your animal could turn rabid too. So they asked the residents to be on alert for any mammals exhibiting atypical behavior. We've got a lot of humans exhibiting atypical behavior. They're not rabid, but we've got a lot of people in the United States. They're exhibiting atypical behavior, including some really horrible, evil people who have killed people tragically in the last 2 weeks. May they burn in hell. I mean, it's horrible, horrible, horrible stories. I don't like sending people to hell. I'm going to tell you, these people are evil. This guy that took out the parents so he could get the girls, he needs a death penalty, in my opinion. Such as foaming at the mouth, abnormal gait patterns. We have a lot of people that do that too. Nocturnal animals that are out during the daytime. Hey, I'm out in the sunshine. I'm usually out at night. I got atypical behavior, a gait problem. My pattern is off, and I'm rocking the daytime, rocking the Casbah. You got to call somebody about me. Sanitarians. I've never heard of that expression. Their health department. Sanitarians. I've heard of sanitarians, not sanitarians. Will be distributing flyers in the air to make residents aware of the situation, the steps they can take to keep their families and pets safe. The department also asks you, obviously, you got to have your up-to-date on the rabies shot. And they're going to specifically target the area with the oral rabies vaccine baits. Of course, the residents can contact. You can keep your trash up, tightly covered, and checking homes for holes that could allow animals to enter. Well, that'd be nice. An animal enter your home, it's rabid. My God. The sanitarians. What do you do for a living? I'm a sanitarian. My gosh. We'll distribute baits around the Morgantown area on August 28th, 29th. And they'll do an airdrop as well. Don't get hit in the head. Wow. Yeah, I'm not making a lot of that. That's horrible. I would just hate to be involved in something like that. You know, you think about, your pet, obviously what it means to them, then you could get bit as well. You know, that's horrible. Thank goodness they've got the animal and put it down. Let's see here. Oh, a former assistant track coach sentenced suspended. There's another lovely class of people. Not really. This is in Jackson County, West Virginia. According to the Jackson County, West Virginia magistrate Laura Persley, Thomas Haynes was sentenced today to 6 months in jail, which was suspended. So he gets 6 months in jail. They suspended it. The sentence was suspended to 2 years unsupervised probation. I mean, they just gave him a free pass here. I mean, why didn't you just take it all away? 2 years unsupervised probation, according to the magistrate Persley. Haynes was a former assistant middle school. There it is, middle school track coach who admitted. Now, this is what this guy did. He just got the free pass. I mean, 2 years unsupervised. He admitted to recording students changing their clothes and was found guilty on June 9th. Well, way to go. He is required to register as a sex offender for life. That's something. But really, outside of that, he's got this 2 years unsupervised. He didn't get nothing. I mean, he got a job, but shouldn't have a job. Sorry. Granddaughter coming in, blast of light coming in the studio. But I don't understand that kind of thing. I really don't. I just don't understand why you would do that. Unbelievable. And don't forget the Southern Fried Podcast is supported by Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile. Make the switch today. Make the switch today using promo code Cornbread. Cornbread. I love this company. What a great company Patriot Mobile is. I do love their stances. They're American-based. They love America. They work. They have American customer service. It's not farmed out. No sending of the phone call overseas to some other continent to people you cannot understand. They can't understand you. No, it stays right here. As long as you can understand somebody from the great state of Texas, you're okay. And they're very helpful. In fact, I've got to call them. I'm not going to have time today, but I have got to call them and get a couple more phones switched over. So maybe Monday. I don't know if they're there. I could do that on Sunday, but Monday for sure. Um, they are strong proponents, defenders of the First and Second Amendment, and they are absolutely leaders in the pro-life fight. And I just love those guys and gals. Patriot Mobile, make the switch today. Three main carriers, and you can switch between the three depending on which one works best for you. You have that option. You can also do referrals and get credits for money that will be knocked off your phone bill, or money you can apply towards a new phone, because that can be expensive. That'd be kind of nice, saving up some money there, some credits, get enough for a new phone, go get it. I don't like having, and you can quit at any time. It's not like you don't sign no 2-year contract or nothing like that. You're able to just get it. And granddaughter's needing to talk to me. It's always during a show. Isn't that amazing? Always during a show. Let me run a quick song. I'll be right back. I don't have my videos in here, so I'm just gonna have to run a song, and we'll do one about the Southern Fried Coffee, and we'll be right back.
Mama ain't a fan, Daddy don't approve. Little old shotgun shack in Baton Rouge, down an old dirt road off the beaten path. Red clay river rockin' white river sand. Mama needs a break, Daddy needs a beer.
All right, sorry about that. We're coming back up. Sorry. My wife has some health problems, and sometimes I need to take a break. And that's just life. That's just the way it is. So you do what you got to do. You make the adjustments that you need to make, and that's all part of getting older, right? Let's see here. Let's go over to Virginia now. See if we can find some local Virginia news. I love the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. Let's see here. This is something I have not thought about. This is a local ad for Virginia. And it's about animals and the uptick in pets being put up for rescue because owners have been deported. I honestly never thought about that, so I could see that. People are animal lovers. The dogs don't go or the cats don't go. So the article dated yesterday. Some animal shelters are reporting they are seeing a number of dogs being put up for rescue because their owners have been either deported or detained on immigration-related issues. One such animal shelter in the D.C. area is run by Amy Creel. It's called Canine Rescue in Montgomery County, Maryland. Creel said it received numerous inquiries the last several weeks from families of people who were deported or detained by ICE, and that they were having to give up their dogs as a result. If people are ending up in detention centers being deported, they are oftentimes trying to figure out what to do with their dogs. A dog was surrendered to us, and the family needs all the available funds for his case. In many cases, it's a financial issue. And in some cases, it's just a time issue. They're working really hard to try to help a family member. Pearl said most of the dogs surrendered to her and other shelters are in excellent health and deserve permanent, loving families. We have had several dozen people reach out to us just in the last month asking if we can help with the dogs that need a place to go. Krill said that her small rescue facility and others are overwhelmed, and it's received more than 2 dozen dogs. It's a very difficult spot, especially because the shelters and private rescues like ours are already at capacity. Krill said, noting that shelters are sometimes left in positions to make difficult choices, and they are. We're trying to take as many as we can. Sometimes we're not able to help, and I'm honestly not sure what happens to the dogs after that. In some cases, the people are literally not here anymore, and there's no one to care for the dogs, so they are oftentimes ending up with us. So, check with your local animal shelter and see if you can help, or if you know someone that may be in a situation for a while. Maybe their case is going to be, it's just a timing issue. They're going to be able to come back eventually. Maybe just keep the dog for them for a while. There's all kinds of things that can happen. But I honestly never thought of that. But yeah, these folks are living life, and they're going to have animals. In this case, it was specifically mentioned dogs, but I assume it can be cats as well. We'd hope there's not the local alligator or something like that that's being surrendered, but you never know. But let's see here. Anything else left here? Virginia. Oh yeah, this story, it was national, but local here. The councilman that was set on fire, the suspect, has been charged with attempted murder. He was seriously injured. They now say that it was rooted in a personal dispute, not politics. Lee Vogler, 38, who served on the Danville City Council, and I've been to Danville, nice town. Danville City Council for more than a decade, was taken by medical helicopter to a burn unit in North Carolina after the attack. They said the assailant, 29-year-old Shotzi Michael Buck, what a name. 29-year-old Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes forced his way into Vogler's office at Showcase magazine, confronted him, and chased him outside and set him ablaze. Hayes was arrested at the scene on charges of attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding. They stressed that the motive appeared personal and unrelated to Vogler's work as a public official. Still, the assault added to growing unease over violence and harassment aimed at elected officials across the country, particularly as the boundaries blur between their public roles and private lives. Certainly can understand that. Hello, Ernest. How you doing? Well, I appreciate that. Just a vaccine selling son. Get a wild animal and test for rabies. Well, maybe. I don't know. But I can tell you that I've been bit by it before. I agree with you, Ernest. I agree with you. But like I said, I did get bit that one time. Oh my goodness, y'all are funny. But I've always had that. This is one of the worst things ever. Now it's horrible to be stabbed and shot and all that, but to be burned is that you just don't ever fully get over that. And maybe you don't the other, but I'm telling you, I knew a guy once. I used to work with him, and he was a former U.S. Navy aircraft carrier personnel. He actually fueled the jets. That was his job, whatever it was called at that time. Probably changed now. But he was on the flight deck. He fueled the airplanes. Last minute preparation, I guess, for takeoff. Anyway, this was famous. When I went to the Navy, they actually showed this video, and I met this guy later. They had a big drug problem on board the carrier, and there was mistakes that were made, and a lot of people got. There was a plane, crashed out, bomb released, or whatever. It was bad. Fireball across the flight deck. This guy was burned over 90% of his body. When you met him, he had clothes on, but you could see his skin. It got him from like the neck down. It might have been up on the face just a little bit. And he showed me a picture of him laying face down and showed me that 90, basically what it looked like. And he said it was all related to drugs. And they show that video when you go on the, or they did used to. about the effects of drugs and what can happen and safety and all that. And he said the only reason he didn't get kicked out of the military was when he got to the, they got him to the healthcare people on the ship. He had drugs on him. And he didn't cause the accident, but they, once they had found that, they could have burned him down. His drugs, his clothes had burnt off, but that packet of drugs was burnt. It was attached to the side of his leg. The doctor says, "What's this?" And he disposed of it. He just shook his head and disposed of it. But that he was coming out of the military anyway. After that, I mean, they months of rehabilitation, skin grafting, all over his body, and he was going to have a job. He could work in the fuel industry when he come out with that as a veteran, but because of that burn, he could never work around fuel ever again, ever. Just being around the fumes of it would affect his skin, and so he was working in a mill, just manufacturing. And he told me a lot about it. And then later, I had went this before, after I went to the military, and I remember that video, and I said, "Wow, that's amazing." I watched the video that's about you and others, and he said, "Yeah, there's a lot of people got in a lot of trouble." He said, "That's the only reason I didn't." But it was shown as a orientation video going in back in the 80s. I'm sure probably not now. They probably moved on to other things, but it'll never be forgotten. That was it was an aircraft carrier. It was going to get a lot of attention anyway, and it was a massive fireball. It's what I remember. That's been a long time since I've seen that video, but absolutely horrible. Just horrible. And I could see the effects of it. How it affected him, and he was scarred for life. He's a nice guy though. He really had a good attitude about it. He could have had a really poor attitude, and he decided not to. He had a good attitude about it, and he didn't blame anybody but himself. Let's see here. There's another execution to occur. They did one in Florida, I think that was. Well, they've got one coming up in Tennessee, and there's been a lot of talk. There's always a lot of talk around an execution, things that why they shouldn't do it. People come out against it, why it's wrong, whatever. But in this case, this is one I've not heard before. It went before the Tennessee State Supreme Court. It will go forward but the reason they were putting it before that, they were trying to get an injunction because he has a heart device, and they said it go forward despite claims it may shock him. It's next week. Tennessee can move forward with next week's scheduled execution of a condemned man with a defibrillator after the state's highest court ruled the heart device does not need to be deactivated before he's put to death. Lawyers for the inmate, Byron Black, 69, had argued to Davidson County, which is Nashville area, Davidson County Chancery Court last month that the device, if not disabled, may try to restore his heart and prolong his suffering as he is executed by lethal injection. But the Tennessee Supreme Court on Thursday reversed the lower court's ruling, finding that requiring the implanted heart regulating device to be switched off essentially amounts to a stay of execution, which the Chancery Court does not have the authority to implement. The state Supreme Court justice, however, did note that there's nothing preventing the state and Black's legal team from reaching an agreement for a deactivation procedure to be done before his execution Tuesday morning. I've never thought about this either. An implantable cardioverter defibrillator, ICD, is installed in a patient's chest, obviously to deliver electric shock to those with dangerously fast heartbeats and help restore a regular rhythm. Boy, when they hit you, they hit you. I know something happened to a church. You talk about they slammed them against the wall. Attorneys for Black filed a request Thursday to the state Supreme Court to temporarily halt the execution. Hi, Revolver Broadcasting. God bless you. How are you doing today? But they refused to halt it, writing that it could otherwise be subject to, because they said be subject to severe pain and suffering for having his heart repeatedly shocked back into rhythm. This is what his lawyers were saying during his execution. One of his lawyers said she was asking Governor Bill Lee to grant clemency for her client so that Tennessee does not move forward with this gruesome spectacle. She also argued that Black is intellectually disabled and his execution would violate the state constitution. Black was convicted, which a lot of times gets left out of these stories. He was convicted of the 88 shooting deaths of his girlfriend, Angela Clay, 29, and her $2, Latoya, at 9, and Lakeisha, excuse me, I said that totally wrong, 6. She had previously been threatened because she was considering ending their relationship. He has faced execution previously for 3 execution dates, but those procedures were delayed in part because of a pause in state executions in 2022. And hello, Angry Conservative. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. You're awesome. And Dharma, appreciate you. Thank y'all for the raid. But I honestly never thought of that. So I would think that in this case, they would have to deactivate it. That would be something. I mean, it would start kicking in. I never thought about that. It's interesting news. You know, you're trying to stop the heart, and it's trying to start the heart. I would think they would come up. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Obviously, they're going to make a push to the Supreme Court. Whether it be listened to or not, I would say that this will be pushed on now that the Tennessee, because the lower court, I guess, had made a ruling that the Tennessee State Supreme Court has now overruled that, and now they'll make this may be heard. I mean, I don't know this has ever came up before. I just don't know. That's an interesting concept. Never thought about that. If you have a defibrillator and you're trying to stop the heart, it's going to try to start the heart, and that could be considered cruel and inhumane treatment. You know, as if you're trying to kill, stop, and it's trying to start. It would be. I mean, they're supposed to be asleep, but we don't know what all happens, I guess. I just think that's interesting. Absolutely interesting. I just wonder where they go with that. That'd be an interesting case to see. They don't have much time. Tuesday coming, Tuesday morning. So they'll make a push now and hope that they'll make some sort of a ruling. I'm not saying they'll stop it, but they may just do like the Supreme Court may do like Tennessee and say you're welcome to make an agreement in what to do with this. But obviously they're going to push that. But the Supreme Court may have to make a ruling on this and sort of set precedent over prisoners. Well, if this goes the right way, well, there's going to be a lot of people trying to get defibrillators. He will not get clemency. I know that. The governor of Tennessee will not grant clemency in this matter. I fully believe that. He is not going to do that. He's not that. He's he would see that as a ploy. And this man killed 3 people, and we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way to move forward with this. I mean, that's your sentence. That's what you got. And unless the Supreme Court intervenes, I would say that will go on. And if I was him, I'd want to agree on some way to turn that off. I wouldn't want to go through that. I mean, you're going to die. You don't want to die extended. You want that. I mean, anybody would. You want that quick. That's what, it's a tough subject to talk about. It really is a tough subject to talk about. I don't know what they do with that, but it's interesting this morning. I never thought about a couple of things that were in the news, and like I said, the state's attorney general has said Thursday they will continue fighting to seek justice for the Clay family and hold Black accountable for his horrific crimes. He added that the state's experts do not believe Black would suffer severe pain during his execution, and also rejected the description of him as being intellectually disabled. They said Mr. Black will not be feeling the shocks as he will be in a coma brought on by the lethal injection process, testified. They got an expert on the stand from the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. But they had another one who testified the other way, an anesthesiologist, professor at the University of Washington, testified the use of a potent amount of phenobarbital, which can cause death from respiratory failure, couldn't necessarily trigger Black's defibrillator. ICD sometimes delivers shocks when they're not needed. This is devastating to patients. It's his execution is it did. Thank you so much, Faith and Family and Politics. We appreciate you. I appreciate y'all so very much, and God bless you in your pages. I'll make sure I give you follows. A couple of you, I think I know everybody. I don't know if I have followed. I may have. If I have not, I promise you that I will follow, and I have not, but I'm taking care of that now. So we got you followed, and I believe the others I'm following. Thank y'all so much. And I know I'm following Angry Conservative. I think I got everybody. Let me check this one. Oh, another one. I think I had another one there. There we go. I think we got them all. Thank y'all. Have a great Saturday. Y'all are a blessing. So, this gets down to a medical thing, and they're going to make a decision, but I don't think that, he is a good dude. I like what you said. I like saying that. Dude. He's a good dude. There's dudes, and then there's dudes. He's a great dude. He gave me he gave me my name, like we were Cornbread Nation, at Southern Fried Podcast and Cornbread Nation, but he dubbed me the Cornbread Man. Okay, thank you, Angry. Thank you. Y'all are awesome, and I appreciate you. And I gave a follow there. We help each other, absolutely, and it's a big help. Especially, we got our chats for us smaller folks. I think we had hooked up on 11 before this morning, so it's a big help. And then we got to do our ads too. We're just starting that. We never did those ads. We do our own ads, but we never did. But we will. And I may just do some Rumble. It's easier to do it straight in the Rumble studio. So we'll probably do some of those. Just go live in Rumble with Rob this week and knock them out. But definitely stop by your shows and give you some help as well. Probably be first of the week. I don't know if I'll catch you the weekend. I don't think you do as much on the weekend. Although I don't know, you do a lot, like us, and maybe you all do. We appreciate it. Thank you for that, and I will definitely get over when you do lives and try to catch up with you and reciprocate and help each other. I love the Rumble community. I've said it many times, and I've said it. It is a fantastic community of creators. Even those that we're totally different in what we do, they are very supportive and appreciative, and that's why we're here. And because it is such a welcoming and supportive community. It's not a shot at any other thing that we're streaming to this morning out there, but sometimes those things are not as helpful and protecting, and even the creators. When I first started, I'll say this: I used to follow before I decided to do a podcast. I was following a lot of podcasts on YT. We'll just say that. And some of those creators were so ugly with each other. I mean, they would get in these public arguments and they'd be trying to destroy each other's channels. What the crap? I ain't got time for that crap. I got no time for arguing with another creator. I'm just not going to do it. I'll be supportive. I will go. I appreciate the friends I have on here. I will go and I will help you in any way I can. But I ain't going to argue with you. I'm just not. That's not me. I don't like to argue anyway. But it is awesome. Thank you, Joshua. Joshua from Revolver, and I love that name, Revolver Broadcast and Faith and Family Politics. That's awesome. We'll definitely give you not only a follow, but listen. And it is awesome, and we have to have it because we see those entities. They're trying to control free speech, and if we lose that, we're done. We're absolutely done. How do you get your message out? I mean, the Biden administration was rolling its way to making it illegal to be about anywhere with certain subjects that are conservative or family or pro-life or certainly pro-weapon and all that. They were well on their way to outlawing every bit of that and laughing about it. I mean, absolutely bragging about it. And we need that support. And people just don't realize. A lot of people just don't pay attention to what they got till it's gone. And when you don't have that, uh, once it's gone, it's gone. It's hard to get something back. So we got to make sure Rumble stays around. We got to support it. We got to make sure that it's making money, and by default, we can make money too, and it all helps, and we support each other. So it's absolutely the right thing to do, uh, and get that message out there. We've encouraged all of our people. We're on a lot of socials, but we've told them you just got to go get a Rumble account, and hopefully you'll do premium, because one day that may be all we are. We may be only that, but we just don't know. You don't know what the future holds. But how many Rumble creators have said, "Well, I used to be on whatever, and they kicked me off. I used to be on, then I went to this, and they kicked me off." Sometimes multiple times, and they finally said, "You know what? I've had it." They found Rumble, they found a home, and here we are. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the platform, and we still use our StreamYard a lot, but we're starting to do a little bit more right inside the Rumble app. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll let the StreamYard go. We're just comfortable with it because we've used it so much, and you get comfortable with what you're using, and we stream to a lot of different ways, like everybody does. And our followers find us on different ways, and we've tied in many of those to here, but I'm sure there's a few more that we need to do. So, but thank y'all. It is awesome. It is very awesome, and I love getting the music in here and everything. I like old James and Empty Pockets. He shows that movie night. I love that. That's cool. Them old movies. But I love the Revolver Broadcasting, Faith, Family, and Politics. I love the names too. And that's what when we were coming up. We found out there's a lot of people that say Southern Fried this, Southern Fried that. We also found that there's people that say Cornbread Nation, this and that. There was even a NPR, it's Cornbread Nation. I thought, what in the world? May not now, no money. But we just combined it up and we made it into the business, and so we're officially Southern Fried Cornbread Nation. And ain't nobody got that. We've got the .com too. So we found a way to find our little niche, and just grow in that and do the best we can. And it's been successful. So thank you. My son, one of my sons is named Joshua. Love that name. Love that Bible book, and love that story. Uh, Joshua is one of my favorite characters in the Bible. Not the favorite, because that would be Jesus Christ. But I love Joshua. Love that. That's why I named my son there. The other was named Jeremy, but it was really Jeremiah. A weeping prophet. I love Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah is amazing. And a lot of my family, very faithful. They named a lot of their kids after characters in the Bible. I'm named David, but that's after my dad. But it came from his parents. They named him after David in the Bible. So that's right. That's for me and my house. That's in my top 10 of scriptures, absolutely. And I mean, it's hard to beat John 3:16 or a couple of more, but after you're saved, I mean, that is the verse. That is the verse. And more nowadays, that's what we're telling. That's what we're telling the government. That's what we're telling officials. That's what we're telling schools. That's what we're telling other people, neighbors, contacts. You can do what you want. We're not telling you what to do. People mistake that when you're different, or you're trying to live by a standard and a code. They get offended at that, and they want to get onto you. Well, we're not telling you how to live. We're telling you what's good, what's proper. What we are telling you is for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I've had people criticize me before. Dave, maybe you're being a little too hard here, And I say, that's not for you to decide. I'm the leader of my home, and it's for me to decide that. And that's for me and my house. We're going to serve the Lord. That's in the story. And there is no better way. So they do what they want. And that's what Joshua was saying. I mean, in those verses, there were people that were deciding to live on the other side of the Jordan. There were people doing the things they want to do it their way. Okay, he said you can be like them. You can be like these people, that people, whatever. But as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Now, I thank you, sir, and I know, hey, you're busy. And I appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you doing that, my friend. You are you know what? You are the absolute best Ohio State fan I know. The best. I swear. All jokes aside, I mean it. I don't know a lot of Ohio State fans, but the ones I know, you're the best. Who now lives in the great state of Alabama? I love you, man. I mean that. You you are an awesome dude. That's what I said. You are a good dude and an awesome dude. Am I the one and only? Well, I'm trying to think. Who else do I know that's a. No, there's another guy. He comes in our stream and he's an Ohio State fan, and I like. He's a good dude as well. So it's real close between y'all two. But you're still up there. You're still leading. You're like the number one. I think because you moved to Alabama. My horseshoe friend down in the land of horseshoes, I guess. Hey, I got to do some metal detecting once down in an old Civil War campsite down in Tunnel Hill, Georgia. I found a part of a shoe. I got that thing somewhere. I don't know where it wasn't the whole one. It was no good, but I liked it because it went back over 100 years in the ground. So, to Steve, my blacksmith friend, he we always talk about his creations are going to outlive us all, and I think that's very, very cool. Very, very cool. I hope you're having a good Saturday, man. You deserve a good Saturday because you just do, man. You deserve a good Saturday. We're going to try to hook up with a couple of creators out there later. Joshua says, Notre Dame for me. I follow real winners. Well, that's why I follow the Georgia Bulldogs. We didn't win for a long time, but when we did, we doubled up. So I'm good for a while. Hey, those games between Georgia and Notre Dame have been classic. And I know y'all want to get us back. And one day you will. Probably. That's the way football goes. But hey, we can all say that it's getting closer to football time. I mean, we're about 4 weeks away, just slightly less than 4 weeks, I think it is, till Georgia plays. So it is here. Our sports show is going to be so fun. We're going to have to expand it with all this football news. We may have to do 2 shows or lengthen the show we're in. I just don't think we can get it all in an hour. Too much. Too much. And we're going to kick our fantasy league back up this year, and we'll be talking about fantasy league, and I love that. So y'all are awesome. Yeah, you got us. Y'all got us within 3. Y'all are cool. So that's nice. On the second day of August, we're just 3 away from our requirement. Y'all are a blessing, an absolute blessing. Notre Dame. How did you become a Notre Dame fan? Did you go there? Did you grow up there? Was your daddy Notre Dame? When was? Yeah, when was the last time in a sport that mattered? Oh, I'll say this. I like it. I like the story of Rudy. I do. I like that story. It's a great movie. I can't help but watch it and be choked up a lot. It's a great movie. But I really got to believe that the story that Georgia now has is better because it actually resulted in him, being a 2-time champion and MVP and all that at Georgia. And so I'd love to see that movie made. Not a knock against Rudy, but I would like to see that movie made. So I was a team in youth football. That happens a lot. I've heard that happening. Lifetime fan. Yeah, I like it. My son is named Joshua D as well, but obviously last name. But the initials would be the same because we're Cordells. So it'd be Joshua David, in my case, for him, Cordell. Interesting. Y'all have the same initials. That's cool. I'll answer that the next time Ohio wins it. Oh, that's a good shot. I like that. That's very cool. Oh yeah. You know it's getting close to season when all this starts breaking out. You can feel the energy. You're ready for you're ready for the leaves falling, the little cool breeze that blows through. You can just see it all coming. It's the heat of August. You're like, oh man, it's humidity, the heat, the storms, but you know that fall is just around the corner. It's that it's just that the sound of the bands playing, running out on the field. Oh, I love it. It's just my favorite time of year before the dark days of winter sets in. It's I love it better than spring because with spring you go spring hot. Fall it does eventually get really cold, but around here it's fairly mild, except for a little bit of time. So I love that's cooling down a little bit more every day, and I love those days that are like 70ish in the daytime with some sun, and about 42, 44 at night. I love that. It's my favorite time. Love it. You can get out and do some work around the house. You're not dying in the heat. And at night, you got just cool enough to really cover up and snuggle and stay warm and not want to, get away from the world. I love that. And it's nothing like a Saturday morning. A game's going to be coming on. You get up. You got your Saturday ritual to do. Yeah, you need to do that. And I'm telling you, if you do one, I'd be glad to help any way I can. We're doing our sports show. We do a racing show and sports show, but we're going to have to expand it, man. I'm telling you, because we're doing pro and college. So, and I've got a co-host with that, and so we do an hour, but that may have to expand a little bit. And just doing scores will take us 20 minutes. Well, no, we won't read off every college score. My gosh, 130 colleges. But we'll get the big ones. We'll get the ACC, the obviously SEC, Big Ten, and then maybe a couple Notre Dame, independent, Uh, but yeah, you would be really good at that. I could see you doing that and having fun with that. But we definitely, and I might even have to split like the shows into I don't know maybe today this sports show is dedicated to college football and then do one for NFL. I don't know. We're having trouble getting it all in anyway. I'm trying to cover previews for the NFL and college teams. It's hard to get it in with the other sports that's going on, baseball, other things, but we're shifting more towards football, and I just love that's awesome. So yeah, it's so cool to get. Um, it's so cool to get in that time of year where you know that things are coming your way. They're coming pretty fast. So, but I can see you doing good at that. But you got to watch now, Angry. Being down there in Alabama, you're gonna have to watch how much you promote Ohio football. Remember a few years ago, Ohio State put it on Alabama in that big game when Saban was there. They ain't forgot about that. Ezekiel Elliott run all over them, and that quarterback. Who was that quarterback at the time? I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, I knew a guy that throwed his remote at his big screen TV on that game. Absolutely, man. That game ripped the heart out of Alabama football. They didn't think Ohio had nothing for them. Oh man, did they take that one hard. They take every loss hard, but that was particularly hard. What about there's news today talking about football. The big Dallas Micah Parsons for Dallas Cowboys, who has said he's demanded a trade. He doesn't want to play for the Cowboys anymore. He's in the last year of his rookie contract, $21 million as a defensive lineman, as a linebacker, which he really is. They call him change that name up. He'd be making $24 million. He wants a new deal now, not wait. So he's asked to get out. Well, they put up a video that he made because he loves to do podcasting. They put up a video he did about the Tennessee quarterback leaving Tennessee and going to UCLA, or get whatever. But he thought what he said is that these athletes have got to honor their contracts. Oh, not a good look. Dope. So I like Michael Parsons. He's an amazing athlete, but he ran his mouth on that one. Don't be getting in somebody else's business, because that business is now your business. Is not your business, but this business is. And he's trying to do the power play, and he's kind of trashing the Cowboys. It's going to make it harder to get a deal done if he's not careful. It's going to be real hard to get a deal done. But they wouldn't want to trade him because he's one of the hot, he's still one of the best young talents. He's a star. I mean, the guy makes a difference in the game. He's a game changer. It can be, maybe not. You're always having to double team him. He's altering the game, making you change your game plan up. But he's a good podcast. I like him. I'm not against him, but he got called on that, and he should have been. He got called on it. He shouldn't have talked. He shouldn't have said that when he's doing the same thing, not wanting to honor a contract. So you got to, sometimes you just got to stay on people's business. As we say here at the Southern Fried, none your business. None your business. If we want to answer it, we can, but it's none your business. But yeah, you'd be good at that. I could see you doing it. Interview with a Notre Dame fan. That'll be your interview series during football season. A Saints fan with a bag on their head. Or that would probably be somebody else now. Oh, man. I can see it now. The interview series, football edition. It's just too bad old dude is not still alive. What was his name? That killed the trees at Toomer's Corner? That'd been a great interview to do, man. Oh, my gosh. To get an inside track on, what was his name? I know it. I can't think of it. He's deceased now. He passed on. And it's not right what he did. I'm not promoting that. But I was driving back. I had been at a church. Me and my wife, we were coming back through Alabama. She was taking a nap, and I turned on the Feinbaum show. And this had just happened where he had come on. And Feinbaum's still all fired up about it, going, what the heck, And I was like, is this a skit? I mean, it felt like something they were doing as a skit. And of course, I realized quickly it wasn't. That this guy actually been called in. They replayed it. I just missed it live because I turned it on. I don't even know if I listened to Feinbaum before that. I was like, okay, it's Alabama, sports news. What's going on? I was looking for, scores probably or something. I don't even know if they were playing at that time. But I was looking for sports talk. And then here, this guy went on there or called in, not went on there, but called in and said, I did it. It's not. Them trees are dying. Road dang tide, right? That's what he said. I mean, it was like the greatest skit, but it was real life. I mean, if it had been a skit and no trees got hurt, it would be the funniest thing. That's what I thought it was. I was like, come on. This is one of those. It's like, what was that girl's name? Used to call in a big Bama fan. I think she passed on to Tammy, if you've ever watched Feinbaum. And it just sounded like a skit. Like Feinbaum's, full of a skit. I thought, that didn't happen. That guy didn't do that. But he did. What? They went down there and tested the soil. And he's done it. The trees died. And they had to replant. I mean, they couldn't throw their toilet paper up there. I mean, he got everything he wanted and then some, right? Because he got what he didn't want. Trouble. He became a legend and embarrassed every Alabama. Well, I ain't going to say every Alabama fan. But I'd say there's probably some Alabama fans that like the old boy. I am ready for some football, absolutely. Oh, I'm a lifelong Falcons fan. You can tell the gray hair I have watching Falcons and Braves. And a lifelong Georgia fan. I do like some other teams. outside of the locals. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, not because they've just started winning. I go all the way back to the days of old with the great running backs. And what was the great linebacker from Alabama that played there? He passed away. God, I can't think of names today. I uh, I was watching Kansas City way back then, and I like Buffalo. Who else? A little bit. I like the Chargers. Kind of like them a little bit. Uh, there may be one other I can't think. Nobody in the NFC. I'll hate them. That's the enemy of my Falcons. The AFC, unless they play them, you know, I used to like Denver a little bit until they beat the Falcons in December, like a drum. Oh, we blowed it that year. I say blew it. We wasn't ready for that game. It was a bad game. Bad game. Um, I see. Well, I take that back. I did always like the Giants, but I grew up on LT and Phil Simms and Mark Bavaro and all those great defenders, Harry Carson, I think it was, and I like the Giants. Now, but that was a team I really liked back in the day. LT was my favorite player of all time, bar none. And there's a lot of great players I like. I know he's a bit about crazy in his head about a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you what, there wasn't nobody, and I believe it, nobody put fear in the offense like that guy has when he played. There's a lot of them out there that have. But I think that guy he was a generational talent. Those reels that they play where they just show play after play after play where he's you know getting running backs behind the lines, crushing the quarterback, intercepting the ball, all those things. Disruptive, total disruption. I loved it. Uh, Also, shout out, former Falcon and Florida State, Seminole. I like them too a little bit. Um, Deion Sanders, I hate to hear that he's going through the health issues that he has. I truly hope he gets better. That man has, for such an athlete, that man has had some bad health for a bit. And I do hate that. I truly hope he's okay. I don't always like the way he's done, but I do have respect for him. And I truly hope he's okay. Because he has had some real health issues. And he promotes, he keeps putting his one foot in front of the other. And he ain't stepping back, he's stepping forward, and I like that. I respect that about him. He's a good guy in that way. Uh, I really thought he would already be out of Colorado and coaching an NFL team or something. I don't know. But he chooses his own path. Dion, Florida State Seminole, all that bling, played for the Braves, Yankees, Dallas, 49ers. What a talent. He wasn't ever the best tackler, but boy, could he cover and intercept and do things on offense. I'm a big fan of Dion. But boy, he come in blingy with a lot of bravado. I remember when he was playing against the Yankees and the catcher was old school. I can't remember that guy's name either. He Hall of Famer, I'm sure. But he thought Dion was disrespecting the game. Remember that game when he told him, said, I ain't on the plantation. Oh boy, did it get hot. Wow. Which he was one of those veterans and he felt like it was his duty to call him into check. Sometimes that stuff got out of control. And that's what he was saying. Like, look, man, you're not my master. Your job's catcher. My job's hitter. Enough said. I remember that happened in the NFL. I can't remember the receiver. There was three players that come at him and was telling him to straighten up and they weren't going to put up with it, It got ugly because he told him, I'm a grown man. Tell me what to do. And I get it. As a team, sometimes you tell a player, hey, straighten up. Enough's enough. That's handled behind closed doors. But when you're trying to tell a man how to live his life and all that, I'm a grown man. You know, I ain't doing nothing wrong. And I'm trying to remember what player that was, but it's been several years ago. And They said, yeah, they came at me. I mean, like something out of a prison movie or something. You coming at you and telling you to, you're not going to put up with it. Wait a minute, who are you? None of your business. That's everybody wants to get in your business, not to be a help, to control. Help is one thing, advice, wisdom. Just sitting around and going, hey man, it's your decision, but we just want to give you some idea. I'm good with that. But when you come at a guy and you say you will or you will not, unless it's something that's hurting the team directly, like you say, you're hurting us on the field, whatever. That's players only conversation. I get that. But when you're telling a guy he can't, do this or that, come on, man. That's going beyond. There's that code though. People got that code. There's a lot of players blow that code up now. It's not like it used to be. There's still the rookie hazing and everything. I toned it down a little bit because people get hurt. Different things happen. That still goes on. I mean, stupid stuff like singing a fight song or for a team you hated or whatever. But but some of that stuff got out of bounds and out of control. It's happened in college sports a lot, in high school sports, and players have gotten hurt and some died. There was a story around here where some players went to basketball. They went up to the mountains to play a tournament, and they were going to stay there for a few days and enjoy that. This thing went really ugly. Some players took a broomstick and did something. You get my idea of what they did, and it was a hazing thing. I'm thinking, no, that is way beyond. There's no hazing. Yeah, that's abuse. And it was a big, ugly thing. I think the coach got fired, players got in trouble, and they should. That's not cool. And I don't. I was always a guy that went my own way, and I never I'll put up with the little stuff you do, carry extra bags, bring us water. I mean, I could do all. But when you start talking about physical harming me, I mean that's assault, that's rape, and that's not cool. That's illegal. I'm not down with that. And either way, you're certainly not doing it to me. And I'm going to be involved with that, and I'll burn you down for that. That's crazy. That's not hazing. That's abuse. And there's been students die, drownings. Some people just don't have a filter. And just some people they're bad people. They're not only have no filter. Their filter they do have is they're mean and they're evil, and they don't have business being around anybody else, and they hurt people, and that's just not right. So we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes. I do have to go to work today. It's a good thing though. I get to meet a lot of good people. I'll still be perusing around the. If any of you are going to have lives today, pop it in the channel. That way I'll know it's coming. Sometimes I don't see notifications on stuff. Sometimes I do. But if you're going to have a live today, the ones that's in here that podcast, let me know, and we'll make sure to come over and give you some chat, watch some stuff, because I'll be working on some things while I'm working. I'm blessed to have that ability to do that. Thank you, Angry, good dude, awesome dude, Joshua, Darmac. Am I saying that right, Darmac? Faith and Family Politics. I think I got them all in. Joshua Cummings. But thank y'all. And we're going to do a few more here. Like I said, me and Rob said we're going to come into Rumble. It just makes doing the ads easier. So when we do our ad reads, we'll come in, and we still go out to some of our stuff. Sigma, bless you. Hope you're doing well today. Shout out to you. Have a happy, blessed Saturday. We've got a chance of some rain around here, but not storm. Last night's storm was rocky. I came to the studio and I came down just to really take a nap before I get online. I was worn out. And that storm woke me up. I mean, it cracked, and I said, I think there's any way it was going live last night. So I hope you have nothing like that going on. Again, go live on the Cornbread Nation Radio Monday during the live. We're going to pull up the screen, put it on screen. I got to get all the stuff loaded in tomorrow so we can do that. And I got to read the rest of my education, the instructions manual. Let me do some of that today. But I know enough to go live. Beyond that, I'm dangerous. Oh, don't you just love if you're the type of person that reads instruction manuals and you live in Diablo, and when they do the translation, they mess it all up and it makes no sense. What do? I tend to follow them to a degree, but when I kind of see where everything's kind of coming up at, I go with my own. But if you have nothing to go by, then you're winging it, and it's really hard to figure that out. What do? I just got to figure it out. And if you ever put something together and had 2 or 3 parts left over, it seems fine, but you missed something. It's not that they were extra; you missed them. It happens. That's crazy instruction manuals. Which instruction manual today means they folded up piece of. It's not even real paper. They printed on weird stuff, and you're trying to figure this thing out, and they're giving you junk to work with, and it makes no sense because it's written in Chinese or Vietnamese or whatever, and translated back over to English, French, whatever, and there's no word for what they're trying to say in English. And so you're like, what? Place boat, tighten up. Place it where? When do I tighten? Because some things you can't tighten until you got certain pieces done. Then you're winging it. That's when you end up with extra parts. You say, well, I got it together. I got a few extra parts. We'll put them in the junk tray. We'll come back to it. If something don't work, let me know, baby. That's what you tell your kids. Tell your little girl. It's working. If it don't work, bring it back. I'll work on it some more. And sometimes within 30 minutes they're back going, hey, this fell off. Oh, that's where those parts went. I love it. We had some parts. Now we hopefully you didn't throw them away. I do like that a lot of times in these things they will send you the one extra bolt because they know you're going to lose them sometimes. I've had that happen too, where you don't have the extra. You're like, it fell, it rolled. I don't know where it went. I can't find it. Or they short you. Somebody on quality control messed up, and they didn't give you enough parts. So now you're down to hardware trying to figure out what sort of metric, whatever this thing is. You buy a sorted box and figure out what works. That's not fun, especially if it's Christmas time and you're trying to put together toys. Then you're in a holding pattern. I try to keep enough stuff around. I usually got something that'll fix it. I'm not a hoarder, but I do keep extra parts. And I don't throw screws and bolts and stuff like that away because you're always going to need something like that for something you're doing, some project, and it comes in handy. I bought a truck from a friend of mine. He's a one owner. He took great care of it. And it's great because he's like my mechanic. He's like my expert mechanic because he worked on the truck. And I was asking him the other day, I've replaced like brakes so far, but they'd have to replace a fuel pump, which he had lifetime warranty on it, which was nice. And anyway, the air blows out the top on air, heat comes out the front, but it's what? I said, why does it do that? He goes, well, they got these little, they're like rubbery, there's little bushes, and they actually will, somehow the way they work, it makes the vent turn. He goes, I had to replace them several years ago, 10 years ago. He had a truck 20 years. He said, 10 years ago, I replaced them. It's a little bit of a pain, but it fixes it. I'm like, do I really want to do that? Or just deal with it? Once the heat's over, I got heat coming out. I don't really need it, so I think I'm just going to deal with it. It just is aggravating when you're going down the road because it tries to fog the window up. And but you have to take this whole thing out, pull these parts off the back of it, and they're not the easiest to deal with. I'm like, I don't think I want to deal with that. He said you could get a used unit and just replace it, but because the real unit's expensive. He said you probably don't want to do that because that turns you're taking it apart. You might as well just replace it with new parts, and that's all it needs. And he said it is a pain, or kind of a pain. When they say kind of a pain, for me that's a pain. If a guy that works on his own stuff says kind of a pain, that means it's living he double hockey sticks for the rest of us. But he's a good guy, and I appreciate his friendship so much. And like I say, he knows this vehicle inside and out. So anything that's going on, he can say, "Oh, check this, do this." So that's kind of nice. I don't got to go to GTS or YT. I, I just go up. I say, "Hey, man, did you ever have this happen with a truck?" "Oh, yeah, this is what you do." Or I've got a part for you. I have extra parts. You can have them. I bought extra. I forgot I had that. You don't got to buy it. I've got it. That's a cool thing to have. Well, dude, man, this is like an extra benefit I've never had when I bought a vehicle. Took great care of it, one owner, and he's like an expert on the truck. He's worked on it. He knows what it's involved, how much stuff is. He had 5 different parts, at least 5, maybe 7 permanent parts, lifetime parts that he had. So that was cool. It's the best way to do it. But you got to find that right person that does that, that's willing to work with you, and he's that kind of guy. That dude, he's that kind of dude. I like that. That's my word, dude. I like that. Reminds me of the old westerns. Dude. He's called a lot of the old western characters. They'd be named Dude. So, I'm a conservative. He's an awesome dude. I told Killer Carl that once. I sent him a commercial, and I sent it in the commercial, so I just went ahead and sent it. He clipped it off. He goes, I don't want to talk about myself, but he thought it was funny. I said, I appreciate you. I said, I appreciate your friendship. You're an awesome dude. And I caught myself. I said, are we friends enough that I could call you dude? I said, I hope so. I think I am. But if not, let me know. So he sent me back after I sent it like, hey, man, thanks for sending that. I'll use it. It was for the coffee. And he said, you're a good dude. You're a good dude, too, or something like that. I was like, okay. Some people might not like. They might look at that as offensive, like, dude. You can say it that way too, dude. Like, what's wrong with you? I mean it in a loving way, dude. You're a cool dude. They're back in the West. They would be a dude with somebody who dressed up, thought they were better than everybody else. Suit. Not dressed down for riding the horse and going out and taking on bad guys, but a dude. There's that kind of dude as well. Then there's just the angry conservative kind of dude. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the Ohio State part. Maybe he could be a little bit, dude. Nah, he's not. He's not. He may be gone by now. But if you're listening, you're a good dude. Oh, that's what my rebel friends are. Even the girls, good dudes. No, I'm just kidding. We have been pleased. President, he's a dude. He is a dude. He walks in the room. He commands respect. Those people talk bad when he gets in their presence. They shut their pie hole. They do. They talk bad about him. Let him walk in the room. Watch how quick they shut that mouth. You know, except that guy with a stick in the when he met before Congress. My God, come on, man. That's a bad dude right there. Take your stick and go, waving that thing. Come on, man. You were just trying to get some publicity for yourself. That's all you were doing. You're trying to, because you're gonna be voted in your area every year until you die. But you're trying to get your little video clip, and you got it too. You also got kicked out. Take that. That stick, waving it in the air. Come on. Can you imagine doing Biden like that? Well, they'd have tackled somebody. The stick that'd have been immediately put on trial for threatening the president of the United States of America with harm. It would have happened. It's absolutely crazy that that stuff goes on. I'm not for either side showing disrespect to the office of the president. Which by that person's going to stand there, may not have respect for them as a person or their policies, but for the office of president of the United States of America, I do have respect to that. And somebody have said, would you go to the White House if Obama was president? Yeah, I would. If I was invited, I would go. You know, why let somebody cheat you out of a trip? That is, I'd say, pretty cool. You know, you can still be respectful, be the bigger person, and respect the office of president. These sports teams, I think it's silly. You deserve to stand there. It's a nice thing that they do. Just go with it. You don't have to like that president. Take your trip. That's dumb. That's absolutely dumb. It's like the Democrats getting them up and walking out of a vote, or walking out to protest. I mean, come on, we're all adults. You've made your voice heard. All the rest of it's theatrics. It's just theatrics for the press and for your voters or whoever. And look what we did. Then they go out. They immediately make the video. This is Representative or Senator so and so. I just want you to know I'm here fighting for you, and I have walked out. And I will not be party to this that's going on. Well, and guess what? Then eventually you're going to have to because they have the votes. You've done nothing but make yourself look stupid. It's all about the theatrics. It's all about promoting yourself. Now, I will stand for your values. No, you won't. You care less about my values. It's stupid. Politicians. Give me a break. You live long enough, you're able to read the BS radar goes up pretty quick. You should be able to see that if you have any age on you at all. And you just watch these sharks, predators, and everything else that they are. Just watch how they do. Oh, they all come beating on the drums when it's election time. The rest of the time, you're junk. Yeah, we're here for you. Sure you are. Then you never hear from them again. There's a few exceptions, but even in that, to a degree, it's always true. It's always true. And I really think that when someone does something like that, I'm not big on the whole bragging of it. Like, I find that offensive. I realize you have to promote what you're doing as a senator or representative or whatever, council person, whatever. But it gets to be where you're patting yourself on the back too much. Let other people's stories be what shines through. If you do enough of that, you don't have to worry about being elected anyway. They'll elect you. You're making differences in someone's lives. And yes, the president is guilty of that. He loves to brag on himself. And that's distasteful to me sometimes. But I give him a little bit of a pass because he is attacked by so many people. It's kind of for survival mechanism for him anyway, not survival that he would be defeated, but he has to get his voice out there. So I see that. I do see that. But he tends to brag on himself a little bit. Be a little more humble. I don't mind him calling him out on stuff. I think that's fair game. That's politics. But, when you're bragging all the things you've done and what you're going to do, that's a little bit much. So, yeah. But anyway, I do need to get off here. We'll go about 5 more minutes or so. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll close it now because we're loading up on our radio station. I think 2 hours. I have to split it if I do that. So maybe I will go. Everybody have a great day. God bless. Dave in the AM, a.k.a. the Cornbread Man. Thank you, Anger Conservative, for that. It has stuck. I've built a whole brand around it. I think that's cool. And I enjoy it. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast. Don't forget our affiliates and advertisers. Patriot Mobile. Make the switch today using promo code Cornbread. We're also with Mammoth Nation. No promo code. We use a QR code. W Energy Drinks is promo code, though. Southern Fried. I think that's 10% off. Our SFP coffees. The first order you're going to make, you're going to get a 5% discount there. And we've kept them cheap anyway, so it's already cheap. As we can make it with shipping included. we got to get our QR codes up in the Rumble Studio for our store, our Shopify store, and some other things that are going on. And I'm missing somebody. Paywall. Paywall is a new one that's came on board with us, and we do like Paywall a whole lot too because it's a good. In fact, it may be an option that we're going to use for the podcast because we like to use the products that we promote. They just came to us. It was very new. I liked what I heard. I said, sure. The prices were reasonable, so we help small business, and we had already signed up on something, but we'll look to switch over and help out, and that's cool. But we are going to get up here. Cornbread Nation going live on the video, audio side as well. Well, I know we may not be live on MP3 on Monday morning, but the video for sure across 7 or 8 streams, individualized and doubled on some of those to up to about 13. You can see that live if you come in our SFP morning show. That's the plan anyway. We hope that it works. It should. I got work to do tomorrow to load up. We'll have a great day. Enjoy your day. Support these fine podcasters. They're amazing dudes. We'll give you the salute. We'll go out with some music, and then we'll get off of here. And I've talked long enough. I probably messed up with what I wanted, but we'll see you soon.
It's a complicated life for the southern people. Like a small town, nothing's real. Mama's still doing wrong. Don't tell the preacher. Nothing really changes except the weather. If you can't